Hello and welcome to Campaign Chronicles, François and Kat's regular countdown to the presidential election. And there are not many of them left because there are now just 3 days until the French vote for their next president. As always, Mark Perlman, our French politics editor, is here. Hello, Mark.
Good evening.
James Creedon from our media desk, our media editor, I should say. Sorry, James is here as
Hello.
well. Welcome to you both. Now, first up, a big blow to Nicolas Sarkozy tonight. The leader of the centrist party that won 9% of the vote in the first round has said he'll be voting for François Hollande. He says that Sarkozy's moves to win over voters from the far right have not gone down well with him.
Nicolas Sarkozy, after a good result in the first round, started pursuing the far-right wing, something which isn't in accordance with our values. The obsession about immigration in a country such as France, to the point of showing in his campaign clip a customs sign written in French and Arabic. Who cannot see what kind of clashes this will lead to between French people? Only François Hollande remains. And this is the choice I make.
All right, so Mark, this was a bit of a surprise tonight, wasn't it?
Yes, the rumor has been growing all day that this might be happening, and it's a surprise. Some call it an earthquake in French politics. Why is that? Because the center in France has actually always been a center-right, and François Bayrou himself was part of conservative governments under Jacques Chirac. He was, for instance, Minister of Education several years ago. And so the fact that he's personally going to vote for François Hollande, he said his voters, sympathizers are free to do whatever they want to do. And the reasons he put behind are really interesting and worrying for Nicolas Sarkozy. Why is that? Because François Bayrou said the reason why he's doing this is that he's not comfortable with the right-wing tilt taken by Nicolas Sarkozy since the first round. Since the first round, or maybe even more so since the first round, and the strong showing of Marine Le Pen. And interestingly, François Bayrou said, this is contrary to my values as a centrist, but this is contrary to the values of Gaullism. And who's supposed to be the Gaullist candidate in the election? Nicolas Sarkozy. So François Bayrou is saying Nicolas Sarkozy is betraying Gaullism. So this has prompted some very vivid reactions from the Gaullist Prime Minister François Fillon, who said this is just the opinion of an isolated man. The head of the party, Jean-François Copé, says he deeply regrets. And we're hearing words, traitor, traitor, coming from the conservative ranks, which show that they're really worried because this could indeed be the knockout blow for Nicolas Sarkozy.
All right, James, what kind of reaction have you got to that endorsement?
Well, a lot of reactions online mirroring what Mark was saying. People, certainly who have a centrist or right-leaning tendency, clearly angry with this. Let's take a look at one tweet here. R.I.P. Bayrou's political career. The right will not forgive him, and the left doesn't even want him and doesn't need him. So that was one person's reaction online this afternoon. There were tweets coming in, several every second actually after the announcement. People were online expressing themselves. Also, this one here. From now on, it will be possible to say Jean-Luc Mélenchon, François Bayrou. That's the far left candidate and the centrist centre right candidate. Same fight. They're on the same side. Who could have imagined this? The fact that Mélenchon and Bayrou would both back François Hollande. And I guess it means too, Mark, as you were saying, that they were trying to walk this tightrope between the far right and the centre. Failed, I guess, right?
Yes, the rope just broke today, clearly, because
it's a strategy that really hasn't
the strategy, but it's also a gamble for François Bayrou, because some people might say, well, I voted for this man who was supposed to be center-right, he's betrayed me, so I might vote for Nicolas Sarkozy. So there's a personal risk in there for François Bayrou.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, what about Marine Le Pen? She is the far-right leader. She did extraordinarily well in the first round with 18% of the vote. What has she had to say today as well?
Well, it's interesting because both François Bayrou and Marine Le Pen are actually looking ahead after a defeat of Nicolas Sarkozy, and they think his party, the Gaullist party, the UMP, will implode, meaning that, and they're both trying to already look to the day when there will be no more UMP. François Bayrou is hoping that he can gather the centrist among those, and Marine Le Pen is hoping that she can get the right-wingers to join her. And so, although she officially said, I urge my voters, my sympathizers, not to support any of the candidates, and that she would personally vote blank next Sunday. If you've listened to her since the past few days, she's been much tougher on Nicolas Sarkozy than on François Hollande. Let's take a listen to Marine Le Pen this morning on the radio.
I think that François Hollande showed a different side to himself, different to that which we generally hear from commentators. In terms of political weight, he fulfilled his role. Nicolas Sarkozy, however, wasn't clear in his strategy. We see his campaign as very changeable from one day to the other. We don't know now what his position is.
Well, the last major rally for François Hollande took place in the town of Toulouse, one that's traditionally important for socialists. Clovis Casali is there. He sent us this report.
François Hollande often speaks of his admiration for the last and only socialist president of the Fifth Republic, and that's François Mitterrand. Just like the man who ruled France in the 80s and early 90s, François Hollande has decided to hold his last major rally before the second round of the election here in Toulouse, a day after the intense face-off between the left-wing leader and Nicolas Sarkozy. Socialist supporters feel that victory is around the corner. Here's what they told us.
I think that François Hollande is going to win. He's going to be our next president. I think that a lot of people have been surprised by François Hollande's calibre. So lots of people will vote for him now.
People are fed up with Sarkozy. We want something new, something else. We want hope. I think that's what Hollande brings.
You can never be sure until the day, but I think it's looking hopeful.
François Hollande supporters might be extremely confident, but the socialist candidates reminded them that it's not over yet, that they need to remain fully mobilised and go and vote in huge numbers on Sunday. François Hollande did, however, say that he was ready to be president, that he could feel the victory coming, and he accused Nicolas Sarkozy of implementing devastating policies for France, notably favouring the rich. He mocked Nicolas Sarkozy on several occasions, sometimes with irony, stressing Nicolas Sarkozy's legendary modesty. François Hollande told the crowd that the whole of the left wing was behind him, including the far left leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon, and that it was time for Nicolas Sarkozy to go.
All right, well, Nicolas Sarkozy's campaign also drawing to a close. His camps had to battle against the pessimistic polls, but as he rallied his supporters in Toulon, the president struck a defiant note. Luke Brown has more.
We're here in Toulon in the south of France for the final major rally with Nicolas Sarkozy in this 2012 campaign. As he hasn't done throughout the past weeks, he's not really taking any risks. This area and the city are known for being bastions of the right wing. It also fits in well with his current strategy because the National Front far-right party is also known for being strong here. When you speak to the activists here, they're also not that downbeat about his chances on Sunday.
I think a huge majority of French people will vote Nicolas Sarkozy on Sunday.
I think yesterday's debate will help open people's eyes, especially Marine Le Pen's voters and maybe François Bayrou supporters.
Now we saw a very defiant Nicolas Sarkozy rolling out what could well be the third pillar of his current strategy. In the recent weeks we've seen him talking a lot about work and frontiers. Tonight he was focusing on the notion of the Republic, liberty, equality and fraternity. He says that ties in with his current priorities, be they French values, cutting taxes, or indeed the role of religion here in France. In recent weeks, we have seen Nicolas Sarkozy appealing to far-right National Front voters as well as the moderates to a lesser degree. Tonight, he was very much appealing to France's Republicans, he said, and it is, as you can imagine, key to any chance of victory for Nicolas Sarkozy that he does have a broad appeal to as many voters as possible on Sunday.
All right then, Mark, with just 3 days to go, what are the latest polls saying?
The latest polls still show the socialist François Hollande ahead of Nicolas Sarkozy. He has 53 to 47 advantage. It hasn't really moved. It's narrowed, but it should be narrower for Nicolas Sarkozy to have a real chance.
It's been the same story for a while now, hasn't it? All right, Mark Perelman, James Creedon, thank you very much to you both. Keep tuned to France 24. We've got more election coverage for you coming up and much more.